Hello everybody, it's Alan. I wanted to follow up on my last video and make a video in which I kind of pick apart a couple really appalling and flabbergasting articles that I came across a couple weeks ago when I was sort of doing research on this issue of traditional gender roles when it comes to paying for dates, which you'll see my opinions on if you watch my previous video. And I told you I would talk about this stuff in this video, so here I am, even though I probably should not be doing it because I have an unbelievable amount of work, which is why I am behind in responding to people's comments and messages on YouTube, which I apologize for. If you've written me, I will eventually get back to you, so thank you for your patience. Okay, first I want to share with you some of my thoughts about an online article from the eHarmony blog. This one is written by a woman, interestingly. Okay, so this is called First Dates, Who Should Pay and Why. And, I mean, if it's coming from eHarmony, you've got to assume that it's going to be kind of conservative. So, at one point in the article, she says, her answer about who should pay for a date is universal regardless of the country or whatever. This is because it's not, quote, this is because it's not based on the laws of finance, geography, or culture. It's based on the, she capitalizes this, universal laws of polarity, like the North Pole, and they're always at work whether you know them, like them, or even agree with them. So with that in mind, I'd love to definitively answer the question once and for all, and as promised, I want to help set up both men and women so they can actually win. The next section is called A Man Only Has Two Gifts. When it comes down to understanding the laws of polarity, masculine energy only has two gifts to offer the feminine. Simply put, it's his job to protect and provide. In order for feminine energy to relax into a relationship and let her guard down, she absolutely must feel safe, and if she doesn't, it's game over. I mean, I get the safety thing. I mean, of course it's a requirement for a woman, or anybody for that matter, to feel physically and emotionally safe with a person. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a fact. But she goes on to say, in order to feel safe, she probably has to be in the company of a man who is confident, relaxed, and grounded. Okay. He has to not only take care of himself, but also take care of her. I mean, that sounds like women want or need like a parent type of relationship, which sounds kind of messed up to me. Um, this means she has to feel protected and safe in his company, both from outside forces and from him. She also needs to feel like he can provide for her needs and look after her. Look after her like you look after a child. Obviously, the easiest and most symbolic way to demonstrate that is by providing the meal you are sharing. Okay, it's like, would any of this be, well, aside from the issue of needing to feel safe, which is, that's always important, but about the whole, like, providing, he needs to protect her from other people. Like, would any of that even be a thing? Would any of that even be necessary if we weren't living in a patriarchal culture to begin with, or like a rape culture with toxic masculinity? I don't think it would, because it's like this patriarchal idea of the man needing to protect the woman that only needs to be a thing if men in general are misogynist or likely to attack women. And, some people say that that's just a part of testosterone that makes men, like, rape and stuff, and I completely disagree with that. I think it is so much a part of culture and how men are socialized to express masculinity through violence, anger, toughness. masculinity does not have to be like that. I mean, as a trans man, I feel 100% comfortable and secure in my masculinity because I've developed it internally over time, even though according to society's rules I was not supposed to because I was born female. And to me, it it has masculinity has to do with inner strength, um, the clothes that I wear, the manner in which I interact with people, which might be a little bit more reserved sometimes rather than really bubbly. Um, it doesn't have anything to do with violence or like sort of this savage animal type of situation that she's alluding to in this article where a woman always needs to be protected from scary things. I mean, yeah, the reality is that we do have a rape culture where women are often attacked, which should not be the case. But it's like, if we could get past that, I don't know. Just, well, let me get back to the article. Um, well, about that section I just read, that a man only has two gifts to offer someone with feminine energy. Like, I can't imagine that, first of all, she even quantified that. Second of all, that anyone would view anyone's gender role or energy as that limited and prescribed. I mean, it makes my head explode. So she continues, what is the woman's responsibility here? If a man's responsibility is to protect and provide, the gift of the woman is her ability to nurture and have her man's back. Oh my god. Simply put, a man is looking for a woman who will gratefully receive his gifts and appreciate his generosity. The fact is, a man can be with anyone else at any given time, and when he invests his time, talent, and treasure with a woman, he simply wants it to be acknowledged. Are you kidding me? Like, oh my god, no way. Like, I am not looking for somebody to simply receive my gifts and that's it. No, I want a real connection with a real human being where we can each have our own personalities, where we can each be open and emotional and vulnerable, but maybe we can each be tough and help to protect the other person at times. You know, more of a give and take, where people can actually be real rather than just being some stupid cardboard cutout of like following gender roles and where they base their expectations on the box that somebody fits into rather than on who the person actually is on a real level. Ugh, God, this makes me want to poke my eyes out. Um, she continues, here's how you both benefit. By understanding the underlying energetic laws that are in play whenever two people meet for a date, you must understand that polarity is everything. Ideally, that means the man is in his masculine energy as the pursuer or hunter, while the feminine is pursued. Hello, rape culture. Um, Making a first impression, blah blah blah. So, if a man is uncertain or lacks confidence, and a woman is pursuing him or picking up the tab, so like if a man might be a little shy and doesn't want to pressure a woman because he doesn't want her to feel like, stalked or pressured before she's ready or something, then the best you can hope for is reverse polarity. And over time, when you're living in anything other than your core essence, aka traditional gender roles that are full of crap, eventually it adds up to pain and disconnection. Oh my god. I mean, okay, if there's a man and a woman who are together and they want to live out these cookie cutter gender roles and they both agree with it, fine, go ahead with it. Whatever works for you. But, like, for her to imply that these are laws that everyone needs to follow or else you're gonna have a disaster and be unhappy for the rest of your life. that is just like, it's like straight from the mouth of the ideology machine that holds back both women and men by preventing them from being able to express themselves in a wide variety of ways that might feel more genuine than this bullshit. Anyway, she continues, you need to put your best foot forward. Um, Ladies, I want you to simply say something to the effect of this. Hey, listen, about the bill. I'm happy to split that with you or even pick up the tab myself, but I read this article once, this one you're reading now, by the way, where it said that men actually take a great deal of pride in protecting and providing for a woman. It also said that it's demeaning and disrespectful to a man to not give him that opportunity or accept his gift gratefully. So how would you like to handle that? I would never disrespect you, so cough up the money. Man, I would flip out if a woman said that to me. Yeah, I was not socialized as a man, but that just goes to show how much socialization and ideology that culture shoves down your throat plays into this that she is supposedly presenting as the supposed truth. Ugh. Like, it's demeaning for a man to not be able to pay. I can't. It just boggles my mind how men could be socialized to place so much importance on the role that money plays. Like, to think that you have your self-worth because of money? Wow, I feel kind of sorry for anybody who thinks that. Um, and then she implies that if the guy doesn't treat, you should totally dump him. Okay. So, I just have one more that is pretty similar, but it has some additional strange things that I cannot help but highlight. This one is from time.com. The title is Ladies, this is why you should let the guy pay on the first date. The little subtitle says, he wants to impress you, so let him. Alright, and this one is also written by a woman, interestingly. She begins by saying, a confession to the men I've dated. If I ever insisted on paying my half at the end of a first date when you offered to treat, it may have been because I never wanted to see you again. My persistence to pay was, at best, code for, let's just be friends. At worst, beat it. I read this type of thing in other articles, other websites too. It sounds like it's actually a commonly known thing, that if a woman insists on splitting the bill or paying on the first date, that's pretty much a loud announcement that she doesn't like you. I have never once in my life heard that from anyone before looking this stuff up online. So one question in my mind is like, how do people learn this? Like, does their parents sit them down and tell them like, these are the rules for paying when you date? I've just never heard that. That blows my mind. So I could totally be giving somebody a misinterpretable message if I allow them to split the bill for a first date, and when I'm totally into them, but I'm like, let's split. I mean, who cares about the money thing? And they're like, oh, he let me split. He must hate me. So that's a bit odd to learn. And she acknowledges that the whole paying issue can be confusing. And she says it's best for men to pay on a first date. And she says, yes, even still in 2014, a time in which, as I myself have written, women often out-earn men. It's an odd, contradictory thing there. But the fact of the matter is that men typically want to pay. Many men feel fulfilled and accomplished when they see an opportunity to provide, even if it's in simple ways like paying for a drink. I mean, I kind of get that because I mean, I often like to treat. I'm not saying I never treat. I often do it, and I think it can feel really good. It makes you feel nice. So it's like I kind of get that, but to a certain extent, it kind of goes overboard. Like where she says, paying is a way for him to preen, like a bird preens its feathers. Even a guy who doesn't make much money, doesn't make, even a guy who doesn't make much money, if he really likes you, will try to impress you to the utmost that he can. Impressing someone with money. Yeah, I guess I guess some people, well, obviously, some people like to do that, like by buying a car that's more expensive than they can actually afford because they want to show it off. Clearly, tons of people do that, and they like to wear expensive clothes and stuff like that. A lot of people do that. But for me personally, that is just simply not a thing for me. Like, that's not how I think. That's not how I approach my life. I just don't have that circuitry in my brain to like try to impress somebody with money. Um, that just seems so superficial and crass and even like manipulative in a way and shallow, most importantly. It would never occur to me to try to impress a woman by money. Like, oh, I want to impress you and throw out all this money to pay for all our dates. It's just so weird to me that apparently men have been socialized to feel this way, to feel so incredibly fragile in their masculinity or their adulthood or whatever, that they're like, I'm worthless if I can't throw out some money. Like, how fragile do you have to be to think that? Let's see, what else is in this wonderful article? Men want to pay, women want them to pay. But the exception, if she asks him out and picks the place, the experts say she ought to be prepared to settle the bill. That's something else I read in a number of articles, that apparently it's a thing that whoever asks the other person out is automatically expected to pay. That's another thing that I'd never, seriously never heard before. And I'm like, where do people even find this out? Um, so that's another place where apparently I could have been opening myself up to big miscommunications or misunderstandings with people, because that's not how I approach it. It's not like you're paying for the other person to go out with you if you ask them out, like they're a prostitute or something. You go out because you both agree to go out. It's like you're both choosing to go out. So then why wouldn't you choose to either just have whoever treats if they feel like treating or split the bill? I don't really get it. Um, oh man. And she says women should practice being courted. Uh, so when a man wants to pay, let him practice being courted. Letting him pay initially can be a small way of letting a relationship blossom. I just don't get why people put so much emphasis on this paying thing. I mean, to me, I don't think about it that much. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't have all these implications for X, Y, and Z aspect of the relationship. I mean, people take this so seriously and, like, read so much into it. It's crazy. Although she says you can and should reciprocate, uh, you know, offer to treat him the very next time you go out. Okay, that's nice. I get that. I'm all right with paying for the first date. It's just, what got me onto this whole topic was a situation where the woman never offers to pay for anything ever, which is different than the man simply paying for the first date. Um, yeah. So that was long. I had a lot of ranting that I had to share with you. So, thank you for listening. I'd be interested to hear your viewpoints. Talk to you later. Bye.